Assalamu alaikum everyone. A very warm welcome to Vantage Developers Presents Game on Hair. Bahut shukriya for your time tuning in to your one-stop shop for all of the action of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup being contested all the way over in the US of A and of course the Caribbean. Plenty of action happened early this morning, Pakistan time. We had a team complete washout in Florida, which saw Nepal and Sri Lanka not a ball bowled, which therefore means Sri Lanka's tournament is all but over. And then we had another team, washed another team out to dry. An absolutely wonderful performance by Australia over in Antigua, where they beat Namibia by a resounding amount. They chased that total down in just over 5 overs. So plenty of action to look forward to today because, of course, the party in the USA just keeps on going back in New York today in a game that means oh so much for Pakistan's chances in Group A. It's the might of India taking on the pluck of the underdogs, the US of A. Plenty to unpack here on our pre-game analysis show, so it's about high time I introduce my absolutely gorgeous co-host, Roha Nadeem. Hello, how are you? How are you feeling?
Hi Erin, I'm good. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And of course, as you said, a lot of rain and a lot of, expectations from that match between Nepal and Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, no ball bowled, but we did get to see some action between Australia and Namibia. Australia, as always, cruising through this one as well with a lot of comfort because हम अगर उनकी बैटिंग देखें उन्होंने ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लिया. Bowlers did their job, and of course Adam Zampa coming through for them once again, a player of the match for him. And अभी तक properly हमने उनको unleash होते हुए नहीं देखा because अभी तक ऑस्ट्रेलिया के हमने 2 games देखे हैं, not a lot of action from their bowlers, but their batters, of course, we know what they can do. David Warner at the top, Travis Head, this partnership is going to go through really well for them and make them a lot of runs at that top order, especially in that power play. So a balanced side like always, not a lot of surprises we can expect from Australia. It's pretty much a predictable team. We know what it can do in World Cups, Erin. You know what it can do in World Cups, being an Aussie. But yeah, a great show from them, and it's always been a great show from Australia across formats.
Yeah, Australia doing what Australia does so far in this T20 World Cup. It was such a dominant, explosive performance from them all the way over in Antigua. You'd have to say they've booked their spot in the Super 8 now, but we're going to deep dive exactly what went on in that match a little bit later on. But first and foremost, after introducing my gorgeous co-host, it's time to introduce some very dapper gentlemen who are dressed in J-Dot very sharply today, looking stunning gentlemen. Martin Guptill, of course, our New Zealand import, so much white ball experience, 7 T20 World Cups worth, and his first ever studio expert analysis gig ever. So Marty, thank you so much for your time. Wonderful to have you back on the panel.
Thank you.
And then, of course, Yunus Khan, our wonderful captain. He knows what it takes to win a T20 World Cup. We did it for Pakistan in 2009, and we just love having him a part of the panel. Great to have your company once again, sir. And last and certainly not least, the professor, the man with all the guile, the man that knows what it takes to win a match for Pakistan as well. One of the greatest all-rounders ever in the game. It's wonderful to have you alongside us to pick your brain and sort of unpack all of the action that we're seeing. And what has to be said, Roha, is such a hotly contested T20 World Cup. I think no one expected the sorts of upsets that we've had so far. We find ourselves with a prospect of a game in USA taking on India. Yes, before this tournament would have started, you might have thought it would have been a walk in the park for India. But to think that the USA have a real chance at qualifying for a Super 8 spot is just insane. So, looking forward to seeing what today brings in that respect. And I think we're all hoping from Pakistan's respect that India can get the job done, and we're all definitely going for the men in blue today to get an emphatic victory done across USA. But Roha, let's turn back to my men in green and gold, because it really was a triumphant performance by the men in Antigua in the early hours of the morning. We thought it would be a tough ask for Namibia, but Guppy, I'm not sure we thought that they would chase down in 5.4 overs what was a really mediocre title. What did you make of what the Aussies put forward today?
Just a really clinical performance. I think, winning in toss and bowling sends a message that we want to bowl you out very quickly, which they did. I mean, 72 and 17 overs. Clinical performance. Obviously rested Mitchell Starc. Nathan Ellis coming in and bowled very well, 1 for 12 off 3. But Adam Zampa again, pick of the bowlers, 4 for 12 off 4. just bowling so well at the moment, and he's moving himself up the list with man of the match awards in T20 cricket as well. I think I saw something. He's now in the top 5 players with the most T20 man of the match awards. So he's bowling extremely well at the moment, and of course Hazelwood, Stoinis chipping in with a couple of wickets as well. Not to mention Maxwell, 4 catches in the outfield. Couple of good catches in there that I saw from a couple of the guys as well. I mean, bowlers, fielders backing up the bowlers, and just putting an all-round clinical performance on the board. And I mean, they were always going to come out pretty hot with the bat. They obviously want an early day, have the rest of the day off. So all done and dusted in less than 6 overs. So yeah, they just came out and just steamrolled Namibia.
यूनुस थोड़ा वन साइडेड मैच था जिस तरह अभी हम रिकैप भी करेंगे, कुछ पैकेजेस अगर हैं वो भी देखेंगे, ऑफ कोर्स वील टेक अ लुक एट व्हाट हैपेंड इन दैट मैच. लेकिन इतना वन साइडेड था ऑस्ट्रेलिया की तरफ से, उनकी बॉलिंग ने कोई चांस नहीं दिया नामीबिया को. 72 पे ऑल आउट हो गए इन 17 ओवर्स. थोड़ी फाइट उन्होंने पुट अप की थी नामीबिया ने इन द फर्स्ट गेम. वी सॉ उनके अंदर वो प्रॉमिस है कि वो भी थोड़ा सा एफर्ट डालें और उनके प्लेयर्स इस वर्ल्ड कप से कुछ पॉजिटिव लेके जाएं. बट अगर आपके सामने हेजलवुड हैं, कमिंस हैं, नेथन एलिस कल वापस थे, शामिल हुए, फिर एडम जैम्पा और स्टोइनिस जिस फॉर्म में है, अब ऐसे बॉलिंग लाइनअप के आगे नामीबिया जैसी टीम जो है वो क्या ही कर सकती थी.
बिल्कुल. देखें, जेराड रेस्मस ने, उनके कैप्टन ने थोड़ी सी कोशिश की कि वो कुछ रन ऑन द बोर्ड करें, कोई अराउंड 120 130 करें, लेकिन वो नहीं कर सके. देखिए, मेरे लिए एक जो लर्निंग एक फेज़ है इस मैच से कि वाई ऑस्ट्रेलिया विन द टॉस एंड दे इलेक्टेड टू बॉल फर्स्ट, बिकॉज दे आर रेडी. इन द लास्ट 2 गेम उन्होंने बैक टू बैक बैटिंग की थी और दे आर रेडी फॉर नेक्स्ट चैलेंज. मे बी दे आर चेजिंग इन सम हाउ इन द सुपर 8 और मे बी इन द फाइनल्स, सो दे आर अप टू मार्क. तो मेरे ख्याल से ये वो पॉइंट है जो कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया को दूसरी टीमों के साथ डिफरेंट करती है. क्योंकि आपको अब ये भी, क्योंकि अगर मैं 2 पहले मैचों की बात करें, मुश्किल कंडीशन में उन्होंने पहले बैटिंग की और वो वहाँ से वो थ्रू हो गए. फिर जब दूसरा मैच है अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड, तो उनको अच्छी कंडीशन मिली और उन्होंने 200 रन कर दिए और फिर उन्होंने रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर दिया वहाँ पर, और वो भी ईजी विन थी उनके लिए. और फिर जैसे कल उन्होंने फिर क्या किया कि अपने आप दोबारा से उन्होंने एक चेंज किया. तो मेरे ख्याल से देखिए, ये वो पॉइंट्स होते हैं जो कि बाज़-औक़ात आपको एज ए टीम आपको अहेड ऑफ गेम रहना पड़ता है. उनकी बॉलिंग हमने देख ली कि वो कैसे ज़बरदस्त उनकी वो बॉलिंग है. और अच्छी बात यह है कि स्टोनिस का ऊपर बॉल करना, ये उसका एक पॉइंट है कि आपके पास बॉलर्स मौजूद है, लेकिन वो ये चाह रहे हैं कि उनको कॉन्फिडेंस दें. और जैसे उन्होंने स्टोनिस से बैटिंग से, तो आप पता है कि ही इज़ अ बैटिंग ऑलराउंडर, लेकिन उनको यूटिलाइज़ भी बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं. इसलिए कि कहीं अगर कोई अनफिट हो जाता है, कोई मसला हो जाता है, तो ये एक अच्छी निशानी है अच्छी मैनेजमेंट की, अच्छे लीडर्स की, अच्छी टीमों की, कि वो अपने गेम से अहेड रहते. तो मेरे ख्याल से ये एक लर्निंग पॉइंट था. बाकी हमें पता था कि मैच में क्या होना है, लेकिन ये एक अच्छा पॉइंट है.
स्टोइनिस का भी, हफीज़, अगर हम इनका केस स्टडी लें, उनका भी कुछ अर्सा पहले एक डिप इन फॉर्म आया था, वो भी इन एंड आउट रहे हैं, लेकिन वापस जिस तरह उनको सपोर्ट किया है टीम ने और वो प्लान्स का हिस्सा थे, और फिर जिस तरह यूटिलाइजेशन की बात हो रही है स्टोइनिस की, व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन, ऑफ कोर्स, ऑस्ट्रेलिया पुटिंग अप अनदर फैंटास्टिक शो, बट द वे दैट दे हैव बीन यूजिंग देयर रिसोर्सेज, दैट्स जस्ट बीन एक्सेप्शनल.
रोहा, सबसे पहले तो मैं टोटली सोल्ड आउट हूँ जो बात की है यूनुस भाई ने. ये वो प्रिपरेशन वे होता है टू विन अ टूर्नामेंट. अपनी परफॉर्मेंस करनी हो तो बहुत से लोग हैं वो कहेंगे कि जी मुझे, मेरा ये रोल है, मैं ही करूँगा. लेकिन जब आप टीम के लिए करते हैं तो हर रोल करने के लिए आपकी मैनेजमेंट आपको जब कोई ऑप्शन देती है तो आप उसमें रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं. तो ये वो तरीका इन्होंने बताया जो कि सबको सीखने की ज़रूरत है कि क्यों ऑस्ट्रेलिया सबसे ज़्यादा ट्रॉफीज़ उठाता है. क्योंकि वो अहेड ऑफ द गेम रहता है, वो प्लान बेहतर कर रहा है, उसके प्लेयर अकॉर्डिंग टू द टीम परफॉर्मेंस देने के लिए तैयार हैं, अपने सेल्फ सेंटर्ड जोन के अंदर नहीं रहते. तो ये सारी वो चीज़ें हैं जो इन्होंने बात की, और मैं बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हूँ कि इन्होंने इस बात को बार बार ये कर रहे हैं, और ये आज फिर साबित किया इस बात से, क्योंकि यही वो तरीका है अपने आप को चैम्पियन बनाने का. उसकी तरफ अगर आप बात करें इस पूरे ओवरऑल टूर्नामेंट की, आप स्टोइनिस की बात करें, उसकी परफॉर्मेंस की बात करें या उसकी यूटिलाइजेशन की बात करें, तो यही वो बेहतर प्लान है जो बड़ी टीम, ऑस्ट्रेलिया हमेशा से टीम टू बीट है इन ICC इवेंट्स. बाकी सारी टीमें आती हैं, हारती हैं, जीतती हैं, लोगों को फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. लेकिन अगर आपने ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हराया है, इसका मतलब है आप उससे अहेड ऑफ द गेम है बाय प्लानिंग, बाय एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ स्किल्स. तो ये वो एरिया है जिसके ऊपर सबको देखने की ज़रूरत है. ओवरऑल इस टूर्नामेंट में वो टीमें जो कंप्लेसेंट थी, वो टीमें जिनके प्लेयर इंटरनेशनल के ऊपर लीग्स को फोकियत दे रहे थे या उनकी प्रायोरिटी वो थी। इंग्लैंड को आप देख लें, उनके प्लेयर रिसेंट पास्ट में अपनी इंटरनेशनल टीम छोड़ के तो वो चले गए लीगें खेलने, आज वो फंसे हुए हैं बड़े इवेंट के अंदर। उनके कप्तान की तरफ से मैंने पहले भी कह चुका हूँ कि शॉकिंग स्टेटमेंट बाहर आई कि जी IPL के टाइम के ऊपर कोई इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट नहीं होनी चाहिए। ये मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही कि यार इंग्लैंड का कप्तान ये स्टेटमेंट दे रहा है। पाकिस्तान के टीम के प्लेयर्स स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, दे आर इन अ डीप ट्रबल, बारिश की वजह से भी बाहर हो सकते हैं और US के हारने की हम दुआएं में दोबारा से मसरूफ़ है जो हम पिछले कई सालों से कर रहे हैं। श्रीलंका वर्ल्ड चैम्पियन, पाकिस्तान वर्ल्ड चैम्पियन, इंग्लैंड वर्ल्ड चैम्पियन एंड दे आर इन अ डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन टू क्वालिफाई। श्रीलंका तो बाहर हो ही गया है और पाकिस्तान और इंग्लैंड स्टिल फाइंडिंग द वे कि किस तरीके से वो पहुंच सकते हैं। तो मेरा ख्याल है कि इस टूर्नामेंट ने फ़िलहाल उन तमाम टीमों को मौका दिया और उन लोगों ने बीट किया तमाम बड़े नामों को, तमाम जाइंट्स ऑफ द गेम को अपनी बेहतर प्रिपरेशन और अपनी बेहतर टीम एफर्ट की वजह से। और ये 3 टीमें और बहुत सी और टीमें जो हैं वो इसलिए फंसी हुई हैं कि उनके राइट प्लानिंग नहीं थी, राइट वे में प्रोसीडिंग नहीं थी। श्रीलंका की टीम के अगर आप प्लेयरों की बात करें, उनके भी यही इश्यूज़ रहे हैं, कभी बोर्ड के साथ, कभी नेशनल लीग खेलने के लिए या इंटरनेशनल लीग खेलने के लिए। इंग्लैंड की टीम ने भी किया, पाकिस्तान की टीम में भी ऐसे बहुत से मसाइल नजर आए। तो ये एसोसिएट इवन वेस्ट इंडीज यूज्ड टू डू ऑल दीज थिंग्स कि उनके प्लेयर छोड़ के जाते थे, इसलिए उनका डिप वापस जो है वो चला गया।
बिखरी हुई टीम थी और उसको वापस।
तो आप ये देखें कि जो टीमें भी यहाँ पे फंसी हुई हैं उनकी वजूहात इंटरनेशनल लीग की प्रेफरेंस और नेशनल ड्यूटी को छोड़ के इधर जब आप जाते हैं तो फिर आप दोबारा रीगैदर करने में आपको मुश्किल होती है। अगर आप एसोसिएट मेंबर्स की बात करें तो वो उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ कम है, इसलिए वो इकट्ठे रहते हैं, इसलिए वो अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दे रहे हैं। US की टीम की बात कर लें, स्कॉटलैंड की बात कर लें, ये वो टीमें हैं जो आयरलैंड ये इकट्ठी रहती हैं और इसलिए इनकी परफॉर्मेंस बेहतर हो रही है। तो ये एक बड़ा बेहतरीन पॉइंट यूनुस भाई ने भी उठाया और मैं भी समझता हूँ कि यही एक वो स्ट्रॉन्ग रीज़न है। इन एसोसिएट में सो कॉल्ड एसोसिएट मेंबर्स कहा जाता है, लेकिन क्रिकेट वो बड़े जाइंट से भी ज़्यादा अच्छी खेल रहे हैं।
It's very important for teams to have that quality game time together.
There is, but to be honest, Australia actually hasn't had any of that if you look at their form coming in as well. But I think it's that notion of knowing how to win and that experience of playing together, at least the last time they did contest a World Cup, that seems to have done them a service in this point. Because if we looked at the number of games that Australia had played together since the last World Cup, they're at the very bottom of that list. But there is something about Australia in World Cups of any sort that shows them that they know exactly what it takes, how to win. And well, how did they win this match against Namibia? We'll take a little look at the match summary now to remind us of the story of the game. And Australia, they won the toss and they elected to do something different. They wanted to have a bowl first. They sent Namibia in and only 72 was what they could muster. Erasmus there leading from the front, trying his best as the captain to put some sort of a total on the board for them to bowl at. He was out for 36 of 43. Van Lingen 10 of 10 and nothing else really to speak of there in a Namibia batting lineup. But look at the bowlers for Australia. In 17 overs, Sampa 4 for 12 of 4. Stoinis comes again 2 for 9 of 3. Hazelwood, one of the other big quicks, the workhorse as we like to call him of the Australian bowling lineup, 2 for 18. And Nathan Ellis getting another opportunity because Mitchell Starc was rested, 1 for 12. And in reply, well, Head and Warner doing the bulk of the run chase there. 34 of just 17 balls for Head, red ink. Warner out for 20 of 8. But Mitchell Marsh coming in, the captain, 18 of 9. And they did the business, but most importantly, they did it in only 5.4 overs, giving Australia a win by 9 wickets. So looking at the points table now, what this gigantic win has done for their net run rate. Look at that. They've already qualified. They've got the Q comfortably next to their name with a game in hand. But that net run rate of 3.58, completely unassailable. But look at that. Scotland in second on 5 points and the defending champions England, they are in dire straits of not making the Super 8 at all, Roha. Who would have guessed that at this point in the competition already we'd be seeing so many of the dominant forces of the shortest format of the game struggling to even make it to the next round.
But then again, Australia doing Australian things. What a boring team to follow.
I don't know what you're talking about. I sleep very well at night.
No, yeah, I can tell that from your skin. But it's up to us, of course, following teams like Pakistan and all the ups and downs. You know, you get used to it. And here we are again, once again, rooting for India.
I'm stressed as well, to be honest, because Pakistan's definitely my close second team. So I've felt the stress of the last couple of days, to be honest, and I'm just so happy they finally got a win. And I think everyone tuning in right now is going to be hoping for that loss.
But coming back to Australia's win over Namibia, not a small win. Of course, it's a record win for them in terms of margins. Marty, if you look at that winning margin, you know, for Australia in terms of balls remaining, 86. So that's their second biggest win in T20 World Cups in terms of how quickly they were able to chase down that target in just under 6 overs. What does that tell about Australia as a team taking that challenge of a World Cup head on in every edition, and especially from this game, resting Stark and then giving chance to Nathan Ellis once again to sharpen up his skills, and then of course that margin.
Yeah, let's not remember they may not have played a lot of T20 cricket together, but the bulk of that team plays Test cricket and one-day cricket together, so they have played a lot of cricket together leading into the World Cup. So T20 cricket slightly different format, but having that team cohesiveness through the other formats also really helps. And you know, they've played enough cricket to know that, you know, coming and going international domestic stuff or whatever they're playing, they know how to, you know, get straight back into that, you know, the Aussie mindset of winning. So it was huge for them. You know, it gets them the qualified mark. They know what they need to do now, and that's obviously the next round. They need to beat Scotland to go through unbeaten. Interesting quote that I saw from Josh Hazlewood today as well about it's in their best interest to have England not qualify. So
I was not expecting this, Martin. To me, this is not. I was expecting someone from his caliber should talk on this part. If he has to, there are many right ways to discuss. But obviously, this is also one way of saying, like, now we wanted England to go out of the tournament, which to me is not right. Yes, you win the game against whatever opposition you are going to play, but in a press conference before a start of the game, if you're saying something, you're showing your intentions that you wanted England to go out of the tournament. To me, this is not.
I think Ash's rivalry runs so deep between these two nations. We absolutely love it when England loses. The press love it, unfortunately. A little bit of niggle from Josh Hazlewood there. It's one of those rivalries that we love to hate the Poms. Like
it is a gentleman game, so.
And a female game.
It's an everything attitude has to be there.
I think the gentleman goes out of it when the Ashes comes
That's it, and that's exactly right.
When he wants to win, the gentleman
goes away.
Runs away.
I'm not surprised that, you know, in tongue-in-cheek sort of a comment against England sort of came out, and someone like Josh Hazlewood as well, such a stoic sort of lead from the front man. I look forward to actually deep diving and reading that one. I hadn't actually seen it yet, so we're going to be Googling that the second we get off air. But I want to come to you, Eunice, just quickly on Adam Zampa's performance, because we talk about the importance of spinners. You just, every time there's a problem, you're like, where's your spinner? And Adam Zampa comes in and does it once again. Australia is such a better looking side in any white ball game when he's got the ball in hand. 4 for 12 of 4.
Yeah, he's a match winner, everybody's known, especially these kind of spinners, when they take wickets for your team, and that middle period, it's make a big difference, especially, you know, the way he balls, the way he uses his googlies, flipper, and sometimes he not scared that give the batsman that loop. So I think it is a much better way to execute your skill, especially in these kind of pitches. So for me, spinners win games for you, especially in this small, this short T20 format.
Absolutely.
So, and you know, if he perform like this, I think one more trophy will be in Aussie's
cabinet.
So close. No, but of course we know Australia कितने conviction के साथ भी हर World Cup को approach करते हैं. एक last World Cup में भी हमने देखा उनका start थोड़ा शेकी था, बट एट द राइट टाइम उन्होंने वापस रीग्रुप किया. इस वर्ल्ड कप में खैर उनका स्टार्ट भी अच्छा रहा है. अभी इस मैच की अगर हम बात करें, बॉलिंग उनकी हमेशा उनके लिए परफॉर्म करती है. बैटिंग में भी नो, उनके ज़्यादातर जो मिडिल ऑर्डर के बैटर्स हैं उनकी यूजुअली हम देखते ही नहीं है कि उनकी बारी आई, बिकॉज वार्नर और हेड इस वक्त इतनी ज़बरदस्त पार्टनरशिप है. लेकिन what is it about the Australian bowling that makes it so well balanced? We know they rely on their 3 paces. We know Adam Zampa कुछ ज़्यादा ही ड्यूटी आई थिंक उनके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी है, स्पेशली इन कंडीशंस में. साथ साथ अगर हमने नामीबिया की फॉल ऑफ विकेट्स भी देखें, what is it about this Australian attack that makes it so lethal?
देखें, ये वो ऑस्ट्रेलियन अटैक है जो तीनों फॉर्मेट खेलता है, और उन्होंने पिछले 3 साल से ये प्लानिंग कर लिया है कि यही वो लोग हैं जो इनके तीनों फॉर्मेट खेलेंगे और इनको तीनों फॉर्मेट में कामयाबियाँ देंगे. और इनकी सबसे बड़ी कामयाबी की वजह ये है कि इनकी बेसिक्स ऑफ द गेम बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग है. इनको राइट एरिया में बॉल करना आता है, लंबी देर तक बॉलिंग कर सकते हैं. या ये दूसरे के प्लान जो टेक्निक है उसको एक्सपोज करने के स्किल्स इनके पास हैं एज ए बॉलिंग यूनिट, इसलिए वो रोटेशन भी कर लेते हैं। स्टार्क, हेजलवुड और कमिंस के साथ एलिस को हमने देखा इसमें 3 में से 2 मैचेस उनको खिला दिए। क्या वजह? उसकी वजह ये है कि वो भी रेडी हो जाए, उसकी वजह कि वो भी रेडी रहे और एक बंदे को रेस्ट भी मिलता जाए। तो बात समझने की है कि ये होती है रोटेशन पॉलिसी, यहाँ पे आपका वर्कलोड जो है वो मैनेज किया जाता है। लेकिन बहुत सी टीमें ऐसी गलत जो है सोच में आती हैं कि वो नेपाल के खिलाफ भी खुद खेल रही है,
हर मैच में हर प्लेयर खेलेगा,
ठीक है, तो इसलिए आपका जो वर्कलोड का इशू आता है। तो ये इनके क्लियर मैसेज है कि इस क्लियर मैसेज के ऊपर उनकी जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो नजर आती है कि उनकी जो बॉलिंग और उनकी जो एटीट्यूड है मेंटली वो इतना स्ट्रांग है कि वो अपने चैलेंज को लेके पूरा करते हैं। और ये जो बॉलिंग लाइनअप है ये क्योंकि तीनों फॉर्मेट की बॉलिंग है, इसलिए जहां पे भी खेलती है, सिर्फ जैम्पा को छोड़ दे वो टेस्ट नहीं खेलते, लेकिन वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट का वो एक ऐसी बॉन्डिंग फोर्स है कि इनके पेस अटैक के साथ जब वो मिलता है तो विकेट टेकर है और वो आउट करके देता है, तो हर चीज़ सही लगती है। तो इनकी कामयाबी की वजह क्लोज टू द बेसिक्स ऑफ द गेम है और ज़्यादा इनकी जो तीनों फॉर्मेट खेलने की एबिलिटी है वो इनको दूसरों से जो है वो अलग कर देती है।
बहुत इससे फ़र्क पड़ता है बिकॉज जब भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया बड़े टूर्नामेंट्स में आता है, व्हेनेवर दे आर प्लेइंग इन वर्ल्ड कप्स, दैट एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ प्लेइंग टुगेदर एज अ टीम, not just of course across formats but also in franchise cricket we have seen Big Bash का जो standard है, फिर of course players IPL में भी खेलते हैं, तो ये बहुत खूबसूरती से translate होता है for Australia in World Cups. So well, Aussies doing Aussie things once again, and the Aussie next to me is pretty pleased. Time for a short break here on Vantage Developers presents Game On Air. When we come back, we will start the build-up to a very important game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A very warm welcome back to Vantage Developers presents Game on Air. We've had a couple of matches in the early hours of Pakistan morning where one team had a complete washout, which was Nepal and Sri Lanka, and another team was absolutely hung out to dry when Australia downed Namibia in only 5.2 overs. So emphatic win to my boys in green and gold. But we move on, Roha, because we have a very important clash in terms of the projection for what will happen in Group A, which is of course Pakistan's group, and it's match number 25 back in New York City. It's the might of the plucky underdogs, the USA, taking on the global force that is India. It's not going to be an easy task for the Americans, but you know, what a performance from the men. A party in the USA. This is what this T20 World Cup was all about, trying to grow our great game over in America. The likes of Drake are talking about it. They're packing out stadiums all over, whether or not it's actually in New York and Long Island or people just tuning in to watch the game in the New York Met Center. Cricket fever is starting to take over America, and it's very, very exciting to see. They've got one man as well. He's been absolutely firing up front with the bat, Martin Guptill, and Aaron Jones has been a revelation for America. He's scored beautifully in the game so far. We've got a little graphic here that I'd like to bring up. It's one of the best strike rates in the ICC T20 World Cup for 2024. In fact, it's the best strike rate. Look at that, 130 runs at a strike rate of 197. At the beginning of this tournament, if I had said Aaron Jones from the USA would be topping this wonderful chart, would you have believed me?
Probably not, no, but look, he's been really impressive. And the way he's gone about his work, you know, it's been clear, concise, and he's had, you know, just such an easy game plan to stick to, and he's done just that. Yeah. He's a big player for them. He's come in a tough situation against Canada and saw them all the way through, won the game for them, and then equally as important, he came out against Ireland and scored some more runs there again. So he's been really, really good for them. Loving the slog sweep. One of his favourite shots, and see a little reverse sweep there as well. So looks to take on the spinners really, really well. I mean, it's not just one-dimensional. He's slog swept, he's reverse swept, and he's also used his feet. So, you know, he's not just your traditional player, isn't he? He's evolving with the game and adapting his game to what's in front of him, which is really impressive. And you know, using his feet to go deep in the crease, and then using his feet to come out of the crease as well. So he looks really tough to bowl to. So yeah, I think he's going to be looking forward to this challenge tonight against India. Probably be the biggest game of his career to date, I reckon. So if he can do what he's been doing. There could be a few doors open up for him in leagues around the world.
He
make a bit of
was
money.
born in New York City. He is an out and out American. To think he's walking out against the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah. I probably would never have imagined that he'd get the opportunity to do this on the world stage, but to be in a situation where the USA could actually qualify, Roha, like it's unbelievable. No one ever would have preempted this sort of performance from the men in red, white and blue.
They have a proper chance now. They still have a game to go against Ireland. But USA have been really tremendous in this World Cup so far. They've been used to the conditions where you've seen all other teams struggling in specific venues. USA have had their homework done, and of course their players have been playing franchise cricket for a while. They know what pressure feels like and what playing against quality teams actually is. So that has helped USA cricket a lot. They may be new to international cricket, but they're not new to playing quality competitive cricket, and we've seen that so far. But अगर हम बात करें यूनस इंडिया की, क्योंकि एक स्पेक्ट्रम का एक एंड जो है वो यूएसए है और दूसरा एंड इंडिया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस और इन टर्म्स ऑफ वाइट बॉल फॉर्मेट का अगर आप खाली एक्सपीरियंस की अगर हम बात करें, बैटिंग इंडिया की हमेशा बहुत ज़बरदस्त रही है. उनका टॉप ऑर्डर, उनका मिडल ऑर्डर, फिर डेप्थ जो उनके पास है, जो एक बैलेंस लेके आते हैं. इस तरह हमने पांड्या की फॉर्म में देखा, फिर हमने टॉप ऑर्डर में उनके कुछ चेंजेस देखे हैं. रोहित ऑफ कोर्स लीडिंग विद द बैट एंड लीडिंग बाय एग्जाम्पल. लेकिन अक्सर लोग जो है वो इंडिया के बॉलिंग को शायद ज़्यादा रेट नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास शायद वो सुपरस्टार, वो आइकॉन्स नहीं आए काफ़ी डेकेड से आई थिंक इंडियन बॉलिंग में. बैटिंग में ऑफ कोर्स हमने हमेशा सुपरस्टार्स उनके देखे हैं, लेकिन अगर आप उनके स्टैट्स देखें उनके बॉलर्स के, दे हैव द सेकंड बेस्ट स्ट्राइक रेट सिंस 2022. अगर हम उनके सिर्फ पेसर्स का डेटा देखें तो दे आर अप देयर जस्ट बिलो साउथ अफ्रीका. तो ऑलमोस्ट 17 हर 17 बॉल का उनका स्ट्राइक रेट है. वो आ रहे हैं, वो विकेट ले रहे हैं, और उनके कैप्टन को पता है कि किस टाइम पे किस बॉलर को लाना है और किस बैटर को अनसेटल करना है. ये कितना बड़ा एडवांटेज है रोहित शर्मा के पास, और क्यों इंडिया के बॉलर इतने जो है अंडररेटेड हैं दुनिया में.
देखिए, अगर मैं इंडिया की बात करूं तो पिछले को 10 साल में बिल्कुल ही चेंज हुई है. और अगर हम 10 साल की बात करें तो उनके पास जो क्वालिटी के फास्ट बॉलर पहले भी होते थे, लेकिन वो ग्रुप में नहीं होते थे, एक आधा होता था. अगर मैं इस वक्त बात करूं तो हम इस वक्त सिर्फ उनकी बॉलिंग की अटैक की बात तो सिर्फ बुमराह नहीं है उनके पास. अर्शदीप की जो मैं बॉलिंग देख रहा होता हूं कि वो जिस तरह वो नए बॉल से करते हैं और फिर जब आखिर में आखिरी ओवर्स करते हैं तो वो बिल्कुल भी रन नहीं देते हैं. तो उनके पास ये जो क्वालिटी, और फिर उसके बाद उनके पास एक हार्दिक पांड्या जैसे एक ऑलराउंडर आए जो कि सिर्फ देखिए हम उनकी बात कर रहे हैं तो वो अगर वो जब वो बॉलिंग करते हैं तो वो पूरे बॉलर हैं, और जब वो बैटिंग करते हैं तो पूरे बैटर हैं. तो ये उनकी वजह है. दोबारा से जो लास्ट 10 ईयर्स में हम उनको देखा हो कि चैम्पियन ट्रॉफी जीत गए, वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए, T20 के करीब रह के, जो अगर मैं लास्ट वर्ल्ड कप की बात करूँ तो इंग्लैंड ने उनको आउट क्लास किया उस मैच में, नहीं तो वो फिर फेवरेट थे उसके. अगर वो फाइनल में आते तो शायद वो बिल्कुल ही एक अलग टीम होती. और तो मेरे ख्याल से ये उसकी वजह है. और दूसरी बात ये कि जो हम रोहित शर्मा की बात कर रहे हैं तो रोहित शर्मा का डेब्यू मेरे ख्याल से हमारे सामने ही हुआ कोई 96-7 में,
आई थिंक 2006 में,
सॉरी हाँ 2006-7 में हमारे सामने हुआ. और फिर जैसे वो खेलते गए और वो इज़ अ सीनियर प्लेयर, और फिर ख़ुद बहुत ज़्यादा परफॉर्मर हैं. और जब ऐसा कैप्टन होता है तो उनको पता होता है कि अगर मैं उनको देखूं कि विराट कोहली के होते हुए, विराट कोहली पहले धोनी के होते हुए वो वाइस कैप्टन रहे, फिर अगर जब विराट कोहली थे तो फिर रोहित शर्मा उनके साथ थे, और अब देखते हैं कि रोहित शर्मा को वो रोल दिया गया हुआ है. और रोहित शर्मा की अच्छी बात है कि वो सारे फॉर्मेट खेल रहे होते हैं. तो और फिर सारे फॉर्मेट के एक टॉप के बैटर है, परफॉर्मर है, तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा आपको फेवर देता है. तो यही वो वजह है कि उनकी फास्ट बॉलिंग की अगर हम बात करें, और देखिए मैचेस जो होते हैं वो हमेशा स्पिनर से नहीं जीते जाते, फास्ट बॉलर से नहीं जीते जाते, बल्कि कंबाइन एफर्ट से जीते जाते. तो उनकी मैं बात करूं तो यहाँ पे वो लग्जरी मौजूद है कि उनके पास क्वालिटी स्पिनर मौजूद है, उनके पास क्वालिटी फास्ट बॉलर मौजूद है.
और उनका ये जो क्राफ्ट जो उन्होंने पॉलिश किया है, राइट टाइम पे राइट बॉलर को लेके आना, जिस तरह हमने पाकिस्तान के मैच में भी देखा. बुमराह ही कुड हैव यूज्ड बुमराह अर्ली ऑन, लेकिन उन्होंने उनको वेट करवाया फॉर द राइट टाइम टू कम इन एंड अनसेटल.
वही ना, क्योंकि उनको अपना खुद एक बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस मौजूद है उनका, कि वो बहुत सारे धोनी के अंदर खेलते रहे. उससे पहले अगर मैं बात करूं तो और ऐसे एक आधा कैप्टन है जिसके अंडर में जब आप खेलते हो, जब आपके सामने एक कहते हैं ना एक फादर फिगर होता है, एक लीडर मौजूद होता है, तो उससे आप सीख रहे होते हो. हमारी टीम का जो बार बार हम अपनी टीम की बात नहीं करनी चाहिए, लेकिन जब हम ये जो प्लेयर्स हैं इनके सामने वो जो अब इनके सामने कोई ऐसा सीनियर प्लेयर नहीं मौजूद होता जिनसे वो सीख सके। हमने देखा कि जब मोहम्मद हफीज़ खेल रहे थे, शुएब मलिक खेल रहे थे, तो इनके खिलाफ ये बोला गया कि जी इनको निकाल दे, ये अभी इतने अच्छे नहीं हैं। एक कैंपेन चली और फिर ये हट गए और फिर कह रहे हैं कि ये T20 यंगस्टर का गेम है। तो अगर यंगस्टर का गेम है, इफ़ द T20 आर यंगस्टर्स गेम, तो लुक डेविड वार्नर इज़ देयर, मिचेल मार्श प्लेइंग फॉर ऑस्ट्रेलिया, और इसी तरह फॉर न्यूजीलैंड हाउ मेनी यंग प्लेयर दे हैव?
11 of 15 of both Australia and New Zealand squads are 30 years or older.
30 years old.
Yeah.
So ये प्रॉब्लम होता है जब आपके पास सिर्फ ही यंगस्टर होते हैं। जब यंग टीम होगी तो या तो बिल्कुल ही वो कर देंगे। तो ये इंडिया को वो लग्जरी मौजूद है कि उनके सामने 2 रोल मॉडल मौजूद है। कौन? रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली।
पर आई थिंक बैलेंस होना, अब इस तरह हम इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं, उनके पास भी एक बैलेंस है, ऐसा नहीं है उनके पास। अब सर रविंद्र जडेजा हैं उनके पास, कितने एक्सपीरियंस हैं फॉर्मेट का,
सारे फॉर्मेट खेलते हैं सारे। रविंद्र जडेजा ही प्लेज all three
formats and he has been playing domestic for a while. But coming back to the Pacers as well, they have been so clinical in this World Cup for India, and we've always seen India so comfortably defending low totals as well, which isn't talked about much.
And rightly so. We always talk about Jasprit Bumrah when it comes to why India is so potent. He bowls anywhere, but often he doesn't get tasked with the new ball because he has the ability to bowl outside of the power play. And someone like Arshdeep Singh, who he's a young left quick, and we know how potent they can be with a new ball in hand. But we've got a stat here which actually says he's the second leading wicket taker in T20 internationals since 2022. So he would have only been 23 when he came on the scene, Hafiz. And look at this, 157.5 overs, 65 wickets at an economy of 8.61. Yes, a little bit more expensive, but look at that strike rate, 14.5. What is it about what Arshdeep offers with the ball that is so impressive and so important for India?
Well, I think he used the new ball very well with his skills. He does the first 2 overs every time I see him, and then he does the similar kind of a job at the end of the innings. So I think he's a quality bowler with the new ball, quality bowler at the depth. So that's the reason he's been doing well in this format. And if you talk about India, let me say a couple of things in that. You can tag them with the global force, you can tag them with the high quality team, but unfortunately by some right reasons they couldn't win in any ICC white ball format trophy in the last whole decade. So I think somewhere they are missing that thing. Yes, they are very good individuals, but as a team, whenever they play ICC events, somewhere their performances are not winning the tournaments. So somewhere they must be looking into this as a team, that how they can improve themselves. Yes, they have the giants of the game when you talk about in their batting, Rohit and Virat, and if you talk about bowling, obviously Bumrah, Arshdeep, these guys are doing a really good job, and along with some of the spinners. But as a team, they haven't won any ICC white ball tournament. So that is something they must be looking for this time. They missed the opportunity last year, playing 50 over. Obviously, they were the one of the favorite playing at home, but they couldn't do that in the final. So I think somewhere they have a point to prove as a team that yes, we are a quality team, but we need to have a trophy in our cabinet, and that's what is the missing part at the moment for India.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk more about that balance with the ball as well, because of course we know what paces can do, we discussed it. But coming to the spinners, Marty, of course somebody like, we're talking about seniority, right, in the T20 format. Now here's somebody like Ravindra Jadeja, who made his debut back in 2009. He's 35 now, still in that form where he's a complete utility player in the T20 format for India. We've got some stats here that put him in that league of some of the best spinners that have played for India. But since 2022, he has the most wickets. He is in that tally of most wickets. Of course, at the top is Akshar Patel right there. But his, his form has been a bit up and down. Of course, he's not been pretty effective in every series or every tournament, but still somehow he adds that economy factor in his bowling. What makes Ravindra Jadeja such a utility player for India?
Yeah, I look at that, and he's only played 12 innings of bowling since 2022. So the way I look at that, they've played a lot of Test cricket and one-day cricket in that time, so he will generally get rested for a T20 series so that he's fresh for those, I guess, bigger formats, bigger series, so his workload's not too high. But, you know, what he brings to that team, it's not only his bowling. I mean, he's an absolute gun bowler. He bowls, doesn't give away the stumps. You know, marginally he might go to fifth stump at times, and that's probably the widest that he gets. But he just targets the stumps, lets the pitch do the rest of the work, and he bowls at such a pace. He's quite quick that he never goes above the batter's eyes. It's always flat and quick, and the pitch does the rest. You know, either holds a bit, turns a bit, or just skids through. So, and as a batter, you don't know which one's going to do what. So he is so hard, and especially in Test cricket in India where he's doing that, you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, the same ball looks exactly the same. One's going to hit the seam and turn, one hits the leather and skids through. I mean, how are you supposed to play that, you know, sometimes?
Constantly asking the question of 100%. As well.
But then you look at what he does in the field as well. He is one of the best fielders in the world. I think back to the 2019 Cricket World Cup in England where he was up top of the most runs saved in the field for the tournament. You know, he's quick across the field. He's got great hands. He's got a cannon of an arm. So, and then what else he brings to the team is his batting as well. Lower order hitting. He's got some power. Does it in his own way, and is just a big player for India. So to say that it's a curious case of Ravindraj Jadeja, I reckon he's fine. Yeah. He's not going anywhere in that team.
And how critical will he be now that the league will move to the Caribbean, where the conditions will be even more conducive to his talents?
Oh, absolutely massive. If he gets on a wicket that offers a little bit of turn, you know, he becomes even more dangerous. The wicket they've had in New York hasn't been conducive to a lot of turn, but he's still been able to hold his run rate, have a low RPO. So, you know, he's done a really good job for India so far, and he's only going to get you know, more overs as the tournament goes on.
Well, can't wait to see. And of course, we will also be showing visuals from New York. It's another bright day, Erin.
Beautiful blue sky.
Another sea of blue expected in New York. A lot of colours have been coming out, you know, in support of all the teams. We saw against India and Pakistan that game. It was all blue, more blue than green. But in today's match, expect a sea of blue. Time for a short break here on Vantage Developers presents Game On है. जब हम वापस आएंगे जी इंडिया की मैच के ऊपर थोड़ा सा और बिल्डअप भी करेंगे, क्योंकि जाहिर है अगर आज उनकी बैटिंग फिर से क्लिक करती है, we'll talk about विराट कोहली and रोहित शर्मा and what makes India India. कहीं मिल जाइएगा.
An absolute pleasure to have your company back on Vantage Developers Presents Game On here, building up to today's match in Pakistan time. The toss just 10 minutes away between the big clash of the underdogs, the plucky underdogs USA taking on the might of India. Back in New York City, India playing yet another game in NYC. The last game that we'll see for this section of the party of the USA in New York City. And it's an important win in terms of Pakistan and Group A. They'll be certainly hoping that India can get the job done against USA at a big margin to try and level up those net run rates, so that becomes a bit of an issue for Pakistan, Roha, moving forward if we are going to hope to qualify for the Super Race. But plenty to look forward to, a lot of anticipation and a lot of ramifications for qualification on this match today. So pleasure to have your eyeballs for what is going to be a very interesting game in the context of the Super 8s moving forward. But one man I wanted to talk about, obviously, when it comes to India, there's no bigger name than Virat Kohli. And yes, it can be said that the form he's been in Yunus Khan so far this year from an international perspective hasn't been at its glorious best. Have a little graphic here which confirms that, only averaging 8.5 at a strike rate of 136. But knowing that he's just come off an IPL at leading run scorer, averaging over 60, striking at 154, what are you expecting from the big man today against a lesser opponent as USA, it has to be said?
As we know that Virat Kohli is a match winner. He loves the big stage all the time, especially he wants to, you know, perform against Pakistan or Australia. Yeah. So I think he's only one game away.
He's due.
Yeah, he's due. I think maybe today's game, but we all know he's a match winner. He wants to perform everywhere, and you know that strike rate we're talking about him. It is a massive in this 2024. So I think he will be knows that he need more more time to settle down. That is the key for him.
Yeah.
Especially, when it is back in your mind, I'll just go there and smash the ball because I'm playing as an opener. So I think he needs little bit more, time at the crease, and he will be perform big for his country. And we all knows that it is a due time for him.
Oh, King Kohli, he is
King,
the epitome.
that's why he's a king.
Yeah.
That
The-
he is a real king actually.
The epitome of class is permanent. He's propelled that strike rate, exacerbated it massively in the last couple of years, back to his best form we've seen from a few years ago in T20 internationals and of course franchise cricket being the IPL. He was absolutely unstoppable this season, and Roha, it just feels like the king is due.
The king is surely due, but what we were talking about just a few games back, him coming through not just in those matches where it's pretty much one-sided for India, but in those bigger games where the pressure is just so much, he shines in those big matches when the pressure is at the maximum. We've seen some very special players across decades, in world cricket who take that stage and they embrace it. And I think, in more recent times, we've seen Ben Stokes do that, especially in those crunch games for England. And Kohli, something about him just comes through so beautifully in those high pressure games, and that's eventually what makes him truly king. But Hafiz, is India ka jo top order is, especially that top three, we know Rohit Kohli, we know Rishabh Pant now, establishing himself back at number 3, we know uske baad Surya Kumar Yadav aate hain. Kitna, because हम जब भी इंडिया की थ्रेट को मेजर करते हैं, we always sort of look at those top 3 batters, but हमने अभी तक जितना देखा है वर्ल्ड कप में हर बैटर अपना रोल प्ले कर रहा है. Even if Kohli and Rohit are dismissed early, Rishabh Pant is coming in and taking that charge, and of course we are yet to see that proper Surya Kumar Yadav innings, but we all know what he can do. And of course उसके बाद शिवम दुबे हैं, उसके बाद हार्दिक पांड्या आते हैं. इनकी बैटिंग में आप किसको अनसेटल करेंगे तो आपका चांस बनेगा एज अ बॉलर?
रोहा, एक तो इनकी टॉप ऑर्डर मैं ज़ाती तौर पर देखें, अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे एज ए फ़ैन ऑफ क्रिकेट या थोड़ा बहुत इस गेम के साथ जो सीखा हुआ उसके मुताबिक इनके राइट कॉम्पोजिशन में विराट शुड बैट एट नंबर 3.
ओके,
ही इवॉल्व हिज गेम, देयर इज़ नो डाउट, ही नोज़ हाउ टू एक्सेलरेट, कोई शक ही नहीं है. लेकिन दुबे का 5 पे खेलना और जायसवाल का ना खेलना मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. मेरी सोच ये कहती है, मेरी समझ ये कहती है कि जायसवाल अगर ओपनर आते हैं रोहित के साथ और विराट अगर नंबर 3 पे आते हैं तो ये इंडिया की बैटिंग लाइनअप को ज़्यादा बड़ा बूस्ट मिलेगा. क्योंकि टॉप ऑफ द इनिंग्स पे जब रोहित और विराट खेल रहे हैं और अगर उनमें से एक भी आउट होता है तो दूसरी टीम को रिलीफ मिलता है, क्योंकि ये 2 बड़े जॉइंट्स ऑफ द गेम है इंडिया के लिए. अगर जायसवाल को हमने जितना मैंने देखा है, ही इज़ अ क्वालिटी प्लेयर, वेरी एक्सप्लोसिव विद हिज रेंज ऑफ शॉट, तो अगर वो ओपन करता है तो राइट एंड लेफ्ट कॉम्बिनेशन नंबर 1 टिक होता है. दूसरी अपोजिशन की बॉलिंग को एडजस्ट करने में मुश्किल होगी. विराट नंबर 3 पे जो टाइम लेने वाली बात की है, ही नीड्स कपल ऑफ बॉल्स विच इज़ फाइन, लेकिन वो हर चीज़ को एक्सेलरेट कर देता है. तो मुझे ये लगता है कि मुझे ये लगता है कि वो भी उनके इश्तिहारी सुपरस्टार हैं, कि वो भी IPL से उठ के आए हैं, बहुत आला प्लेयर होंगे. लेकिन अभी तक मुझे लगता है कि विराट कोहली को कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करना, उसको नंबर 3 से ओपनर लेके जाना, मुझे लगता है कि अगर जायसवाल खेलें ओपनर और विराट नंबर 3 पे खेलें, 4 पे खेलें सूर्या कुमार यादव, ऋषभ पंत, हार्दिक पांड्या, जडेजा एट नंबर 7, टू मी दिस इज़ द बेस्ट प्लेइंग 11 फॉर इंडिया. लेकिन ये मेरी अपनी सजेशन है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि ये मानी जाए. वहाँ पे मुझसे ज़्यादा बेहतर लोग बैठे हुए हैं जो ये सोच रहे होंगे कि उनका राइट कम्बिनेशन क्या है. लेकिन मुझे ज़ाती तौर पर दुबे, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि वो अच्छे प्लेयर नहीं होंगे, लेकिन जायसवाल के टैलेंट को देखते हुए मुझे लगता है कि जायसवाल शुड बैट एट एज एन ओपनर, विराट शुड बैट एट नंबर 3.
बिल्कुल. एंड कमिंग इनटू दिस वर्ल्ड कप इट्स अंडरस्टैंडेबल बिकॉज दुबे हैजंट हैड द बेस्ट ऑफ फॉर्म, और उनको जो स्पिन फ्रेंडली कंडीशंस के लिए टीम के अंदर इंक्लूड किया गया, ऑफ कोर्स वो चाह रहे हैं कि वो उनको पुश करें, बट अ लॉट मोर टू सी फ्रॉम शिवम दुबे. अ लॉट ऑफ बuzz has been around him. It's time to see what the buzz is all about, but the professor thinks Virat Kohli should be coming in at number 3.
Yeah, Shivam has been very impressive in the first half of the IPL. A bit of the T20 World Cup curse when the squad gets announced and all of a sudden there's back-to-back ducks and a bit of pressure, but surely that's all mental. We know exactly what he can do, and hopefully today's the day that he can flourish, open up and show India back that selection of him above others in that T20 World Cup squad and get the job done for India today. But it wouldn't be a game on Hague show without giving out a few prizes, and also what is T20 cricket without snacks? we want to give you the chance to win a cheesiest family deal. So all you have to do to win that in today's show is give the right answer to this question. And the question is simply, who was the first player to score a century in T20I? To answer that question, please call us on that number on your screen. We want to give you all the yummy food to watch the epic game today and for the rest of the comp. So make sure you tune in every day to find out what the day's cheesiest question is.
Well, that's not the only thing we're giving away. As always, we've always been so generous thanks to our beautiful sponsors. Blue World City एक plot दे रहा है जी आपको शोएब अख्तर एनक्लेव में. If you want a chance to win that plot, all you need to do is answer this very simple question. Against which team did Pakistan win the final of the ICC T20 World Cup 2009 under the captaincy of Yunus Khan? Well, इससे ज़्यादा simple हो नहीं सकता. अगर आप cricket fans हैं, you will remember what team that was. It was a formidable T20 side. Back then.
Why does Yunus look so confused?
And they're also struggling
I'm
a
confusing
bit.
everyone. I doesn't know
They're
about that.
also struggling a bit in this tournament as are Pakistan, but that's your hint. यहाँ पे of course हम लोग इस वक्त discussion कर रहे हैं. We're building up to India versus USA. But अगर आपको इस सवाल का जवाब आता है, अगर आपको याद है वो कौन सी टीम थी, तो Blue World City के Facebook page पे जाएं and you might get a chance to win a plot in the Shoaib Akhtar Enclave.
Imagine. Priceless.
How neat would that be?
Absolutely priceless. And you'll be Roha and my neighbours. If I say it enough, he will listen and it will happen. But of course, we're building up to the toss. New York City, tricky deck. It's thrown up all sorts of scores. It did look like it played a little bit better the other day. Martin Guptill, what are you expecting from the pitch today? We are still waiting upon our pitch report, but it is a deck for the bowlers. We don't say that too often in this format of the game in recent times, but expectations from the captains for the toss today.
Yeah, I think both captains will be looking to bowl first again. It's a morning game. Ball could be swinging around a wee bit again, but the pitch does look to be getting better. This particular strip has had a lot more time to be prepared, so the groundsmen have been able to hopefully get a little bit more in after the game yesterday to hopefully have a decent strip for us today.
Right, Yunus, आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूँगी क्योंकि हम अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही बात कर रहे थे रोटेशन पॉलिसी की, वर्कलोड मैनेजमेंट की. हमने देखा आज ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी स्टार्क को रेस्ट किया, नेथन एलिस वाज बैक इन. आपको लगता है आज कोई चेंज होगा इंडिया के 11 में?
ये होना चाहिए. देखिए, जैसे लास्ट मैच में मैंने कहा था कि कुलदीप यादव का अगर कहीं ऐसी मौका दे, क्योंकि इनके बाद उन्होंने आज जब आगे जाना है तो वहाँ पे स्पिन्स का इनको बहुत नीड होगी. ठीक है, इनके पास अक्षर पटेल भी मौजूद हैं, रविंद्र जडेजा भी मौजूद हैं, लेकिन जब आप एक ही तरह की बॉलिंग, एक ही स्टाइल की बॉलिंग हो, एक ही तर्ज की बॉलिंग हो, तो थोड़ा सा बैटर्स को मुश्किल नहीं होता. तो मेरे ख्याल से कुलदीप यादव को जैसे टॉप में जायसवाल आते हैं तो ये एक अच्छी एनर्जी देंगे, लेकिन क्या वो कर पाएंगे ऐसा? क्योंकि जो मैसेज विराट कोहली को बहुत सिंपल किया हुआ था कि आप आएँ, ऊपर खेलें और साथ में अपने स्ट्राइक रेट बेहतर करें, तो वो फिर जस्टिफिकेशन कैसी होगी? तो मेरे ख्याल से ये वो क्वेश्चंस हैं कि जो कि इंडिया को फेस हैं. और जहाँ तक पिच की बात है, आई होप के थोड़े से रन्स हों. और क्या ही बात है कि यूएस जो है आज रन्स करे या जब वो चेस कर रहे हों तो करीब ज़रूर जाएँ, ताकि एक अच्छा जो मैं जैसे मैसेज किया है, और सिर्फ ये नहीं हो कि यूएस जो है वो सिर्फ कंडीशनल पे ही डिपेंड करती है. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. वो आज दिखाएं, क्योंकि ख़ास तौर पर जो बॉडी लैंग्वेज है, और जैसे हमने पास में मैचेस में देखे, अगर वही बॉडी लैंग्वेज से आज वो इंडियंस के खिलाफ आते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि बड़ा अच्छा मैच होने जा रहा है.
प्रोफेसर, आर यू आल्सो बॉलिंग फर्स्ट ऑन दिस पिच?
ये डिपेंड करता है कि अभी कंडीशन देखिए. अगर सेम पिच है तो आई थिंक बैट फर्स्ट वुड बी द बेटर ऑप्शन, क्योंकि अगर एक मैच हो चुका है तो व्हाई नॉट टू गिव योर बैट्समैन अ गुड चांस कि वो जाएं और अच्छा रन्स करें. देखें, जो इनकी थोड़ी लिमिटेशंस हैं, सिर्फ 3 फास्ट बॉलर, जेन्युइन फास्ट बॉलर हैं, जसप्रीत बुमराह, सिराज और अर्शदीप. तो रोटेशन ज़रूर होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि वो आप इतना लंबा जब टूर्नामेंट खेल के अगले राउंड में जाएंगे तो आप थकेंगे. तो मुझे भी लगता है कि आज के मैच में 3 में से किसी एक को रेस्ट देना चाहिए, ताकि आपकी जो स्पिन बॉलिंग है उसकी भी साथ में जो है वो यूटिलाइज़ किया जाए, उनको एक गेम दी जाए ताकि वो अपने स्किल्स को वो एग्जीक्यूट करें. और आपके पास अगर वो मौजूद हैं हार्दिक पांड्या, तो वो ऑलरेडी आपके पास चौथे फास्ट बॉलर बन जाते हैं या तीसरे फास्ट बॉलर बन जाते हैं. तो मुझे ये लगता है कि ये ज़रूर करना चाहिए इंडिया को, लेकिन देखते हैं कि वो आज की टीम के लिए क्या सोचते हैं.
It looks like the toss is just about to get underway in New York City. It will be the final time we have a match in the Big Apple, and what a spectacle it has been. Low scoring yet absolutely thrilling affairs. It's been a real wonder to see cricket take over New York City, and after the success of Team USA, it has to be said, the buzz of cricket has well and truly spread into New York City. It's grabbed the likes of Drake, it's grabbed the likes of all the superstars. As we said earlier, they're packing out stadiums left, right and centre. They're having viewing parties at the home of the New York Mets, and it's wonderful to see so many tens of thousands of fans tune in to come and watch these games. Toss is just a little bit further away. Ravi Shastri, who else will be officiating the toss between the two captains? Really interested to see what happens here in these circumstances, whether they choose to bowl or not. It's also wonderful to see, as we saw in live visuals a little bit earlier, that it is beautiful weather in New York City. It couldn't be more perfect conditions to contest this last game. And what will USA do? Can they finish on a high? Can they somehow, Roha, make their way into qualification in the Super 8s? I don't think any of us expected that at this point in the competition, but here we are. They have an absolute chance, but it will not be easy because they're up against the superpower that is India. Rohit Sharma, he's going to want to win that toss. We expect they're going to want to bowl first, Roha?
Well, can't say right now because we haven't talked about the pitch much yet, and that's also coming up.
Looks like the toss is finally ready. Who else? Big man Ravi Shastri is out in the middle.
In Long Island and in Nassau County. And the coin will go up one final time in this year's World Cup in New York City. And coming up, it's India against the giant killers, the United States of America. Both teams unbeaten, and we have the two captains here. Aaron Jones, Rohit Sharma, Ranjan Madhugale, the match referee, and Aaron will spin the coin.
Tails.
Tails is the call. Tails it is, India.
But Rohit, you won the toss. What have you decided?
We're going to bowl first.
Looks a better surface. Every game that we've seen here, once the pitch is dried out, looks good.
Yeah, it has played better in the last two games that we saw. But again, you got to understand what you need to do when you're out in the middle. Just assess the conditions as quickly as possible and let the game take over.
What are you looking for improvement-wise after two games?
No, it's just about constantly getting better at at your own game. Understand what you need to do at certain point in time, and then keep those momentum going. It's important that we keep doing the right things, which we have done actually pretty well in the last two games that we played. It's just about continuing that momentum.
And when you win a tight contest like you did against Pakistan, that mindset in the dressing room is, you never give up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a great game to play. We didn't have enough runs on the board, but like we all saw, the bowlers came to the party, did the job for us. So again, I expect nothing different. The pitch is going to challenge in different ways to us, but it's all about responding and understanding what you need to do.
And your combination for today's game?
Yeah, we're playing the same team.
Have a good one, Rohit.
Thank you.
Well, Aaron, you're in the hot seat. What would you have done had you won the toss?
I wanted to bowl first as well. I think bowling first would get a bit of advantage to the bowlers, but so it goes sometimes.
No Monank Patel today. What's the news with him?
He have a bit of a niggle, but he's pretty good. Should be back next game.
But you've been giant killers. You've played fabulous cricket, 2 out of 2. What are you looking forward to in this game?
I think it's going to be a good game, to be honest with you. We're definitely looking to win the game today. If we win today, it's going to be really good for us. So yeah, we're going to play hard cricket today.
And the dugout, the dressing room, they must be upbeat.
Yeah, everything is good right now. We have some good vibes in the camp. We just got to continue playing good cricket and everything be good.
So no Monank Patel. What's your combination for today?
So Monarch is out for Shayan Jangir, and Charlie is in for Nosh.
Have a good one, Aaron.
Thank you.
Well, that's the news from the center. It's India who won the toss, and they've decided to bowl first.
Gee, the news from New York is that India have won the toss and they will be bowling first. And Marty, they're going with the same team.
That was a little flick from Ravi as well. A bit of bounce in the wicket.
A
Hey?
little change in the...
Little wrist flick, the extra bit of bounce. Obviously, no surprises from India going with the same team. It's pretty settled. It's their #1 team, they feel, and they want to give those guys, as much opportunity to perform as possible.
Yunus, that's a big out, Mayank Patel. So we saw Aaron Jones there taking over the captaincy. Manank's been so vital for USA, holding down the run chase, you know, really leading from the front as a captain. They'll miss him today.
Yeah, they will miss him big. The body language was there against Pakistan when he just tossed at that time, and you know he's a big performer too. I think they will miss him.
Yeah.
Just on that though, I've played a little bit with and against Cheyenne Jangahar, and I know what he can bring to the table, and he's quite an exciting young player as well. So he could be one to watch out here. Indian born, so you know he'll be wanting to have this this matchup.
Yeah, a
today.
couple of changes for the US team. We'll take a look at the playing 11 in just a bit. But Professor, what are your thoughts on, of course, India bowling first? We knew sort of that was going to happen because, of course, Rohit Sharma also said pitch थोड़ी बेहतर हुई है from the last 2 games. But what will USA be looking to post here?
देखें इंडिया अपनी स्ट्रेंथ के ऊपर खेल रहा है और उनको ये लगता है कि ये उनके लिए राइट फार्मूला है कि वो दूसरी टीम को पहले इन कंडीशन में बैटिंग दे, एक अच्छा टोटल जो भी उस पर रिस्ट्रिक्ट करें, जिसको कंफर्टेबली चेज डाउन करें. ठीक है, उनकी प्लानिंग है. लेकिन अगर आप जाएं यूएस के पास, तो यूएस की बैटिंग के अंदर जो सबसे मिसिंग पार्ट है वो उनके कप्तान होंगे, क्योंकि वो एज ए कैप्टन बहुत अच्छा रोल प्ले कर रहे थे और वो उनकी बैटिंग बहुत ज़्यादा काम आ रही थी उनके. और आज अगर वो नहीं होंगे, वो कमी तो पूरी नहीं हो सकती, लेकिन देखना ये है कि जो एक्साइटमेंट के साथ जो नया प्लेयर आ रहा है वो कैसे ग्रैब करता है. ये टफ़ कंडीशंस हैं, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि यूएस के पास इनकी बॉलिंग के ख़िलाफ़ अगर वो 115-20 स्कोर कर देते हैं इस पिच पे, क्योंकि ये एकदम से 180 स्कोर नहीं होने वाला यहाँ पे, 115-20 भी हो जाए तो वो एक ऐसा स्कोर है जिसके ऊपर आप चैलेंज करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. तो लेट्स सी, अगर ये 120 तक इस पिच के ऊपर करते हैं, 120 वुड बी अ वेरी गुड टोटल टू मी if US can post that, and then they can challenge Indian batting lineup.
And let's not forget, when they played Pakistan just a few days ago, all bowled out for 119 they got in that first innings. Not a high score given the quality of that batting lineup. There's more runs in that lineup than we've seen yet as well from India. What are you expecting intent-wise from the Indian lineup?
They're just going to get the job done any way they can. It doesn't matter how they want to do it. Obviously, they want to do it, get their run rate up, which you know always helps in tournament play. But they'll just want to go out there and put their best foot forward. They want to adapt to the conditions, what's in front of them, and chase it down. You know, however long it takes.
इंटेंट की बात हम कर रहे हैं यूनिस. अब यूएसए ऑफ कोर्स हमने कुछ प्रॉमिस उनकी तरफ से बैटिंग में देखा था. वी नो उनके पास कैपेबिलिटी है. फिर उन्होंने पाकिस्तान के अगेंस्ट दैट शो दैट दे पुट अप बॉलिंग में भी एक ऑल राउंड, फिर फील्ड में भी वो कितना इम्प्रूव करके हमें उन्होंने दिखाया है फ्रॉम दैट फर्स्ट गेम. क्या आज माइंडसेट लेके यूएसए की टीम आएगी? बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स सामने जायंट्स हैं ऑफ नॉट ओनली द फॉर्मेट बट दे आर मच सीनियर इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस एज वेल.
बिल्कुल, वो जायंट किलर हैं वो इस वक्त. जायंट्स किलर है अगर उनको देखा जाए तो. क्या ही मज़ा है कि आज वो अच्छा इंडिया के खिलाफ जीत जाए, तो क्या ज़बरदस्त काम हो जाएगा.
सारे तो अभी यही दुआ कर रहे हैं कि आज इंडिया जो है वो एक अच्छे मार्जिन से यूएस को
किसी तरह इंडिया हार जाए तो क्या ही बात है. लेकिन यहाँ देखिए, मैं यूएस की टीम की बात करूँगा तो वो आए हुए एक टास्क से. अगर हमने जो पहले मैच से देखा कनाडा के खिलाफ, फिर पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ देखा हमने उनको, वो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो इजी आएंगे और आपको बस एक एसोसिएट नेशन की तरह आप उनको लेंगे और आप वो आएंगे और आप खेल के चले जाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं करने वाले वो लोग. और आज भी अब हम देखेंगे कि वो कुछ ना कुछ अपने दिखाएंगे कि वो आए हुए हैं. तो मेरे ख्याल से जब आपके जहन में एक टास्क होता है कि हमने आगे कुछ सिर्फ खेलना नहीं है बल्कि बहुत अच्छा खेलना है और हमने वो परफॉर्मेंसेस करनी है जो कि हमारी टीम के काम है, तो ये बस एक एसेंशियल पॉइंट है उनकी तरफ से. और हमने उनको देखा, उनकी बैटिंग, उनकी बॉलिंग, और ख़ासतौर पर जब कैप्टनसी भी वो ना उसको आज वो मिस करेंगे मेरे ख्याल, क्योंकि वो एक सीनियर उनके वो कैप्टन भी हैं, बैटर भी रहे. मेरे ख्याल से वो उनको थोड़ा सा मिस करेंगे. लेकिन आई होप कि अच्छा मैच हो और क्या ही बात हो कि ठीक है, अगर बस यूएस हारता भी है लेकिन क्लोज मैच ज़रूर होना चाहिए.
आपको लगता है 115-120
मेरे ख्याल से देखिए बनने चाहिए, कोई 130, 135, 140 रन बनने चाहिए, ताकि जो मैं चाह रहा हूँ ना कि ज़रा मैच अच्छा हो.
And just before we get to the specifics of the pitch, we've got our pitch report coming up imminently.
Yeah.
Hafiz, it's the last game we have in New York City. The
It should be
American
special.
experiment,
Yes.
it's special. Yes, there have been low-scoring affairs. Yes, there's been a lot of noise in the media about dropping wickets and the uneven bounce and whatnot, but the games have been thrilling. They've been hotly contested for the most part. They've gotten better and better as time has gone along. Has the American experiment been a success in New York? In your
Well, I think
opinion?
it was a great success when you talk about the quality of the game overall, because it's not about high scoring events. Yes, we know like the batsmen struggle a bit. It's been challenged by the technique and challenged by the conditions provided. But I think overall, if you go in the whole tournament, so far the excitement, the suspense, the the nail-biting thrillers basically we witness in New York. So why not? I think it's whatever experiment has been done, I think it was truly successful, and I think that will promote more cricket in US.
Right, I think we are ready with the playing 11. Professor, if you could walk us through the American 11. What are your thoughts?
Well, I personally don't know too many players, but obviously we've seen them playing well in the last 2 games. Obviously we talked about Jahangir, he's coming back into the side, making his way to come into the side. Miyanak जो इनके कप्तान है वो नहीं खेल रहे. टेलर हमने देखा है कि ये एक्सप्लोसिव हैं, ये अच्छी क्रिकेट खेल सकते हैं. जो इनके मेन जो बॉन्डिंग फोर्स है वो आंड्रे हाउस और जोन्स के साथ है, क्योंकि ये 2 बहुत ही टेक्निकली बेहतर प्लेयर लग रहे हैं, एक्सप्लोसिव हैं. तो ये यही चाहेंगे कि ये 2 बड़ा स्कोर कर दें. कोई इनमें से कोई एक अच्छी बड़ी अगर 50+ रन्स करता है तो वो इनकी टीम को लेके चलेगा. तो मुझे लगता है ये 2 उनके मेन प्लेयर हैं. उसके साथ अगर एंडरसन के जाएँ तो अभी तक इस टूर्नामेंट में उनकी बारी उस तरीके से नहीं आई. ही वुड लाइक टू हैव अ चांस कि वो अंदर जाएँ और जाकर अच्छा परफॉर्म करें. एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ज़्यादा है. उसके बाद इनकी बॉलिंग में जाएँ तो अली खान इनका स्पेशल बॉलर है जो अभी तक बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दे चुका है. एंड वी कैन लाइक एज ए पाकिस्तानी विल नेवर फॉरगेट दिस पार्ट.
नेत्रा वालकर,
क्योंकि इन्होंने जो किया है वो हम सबको याद रहेगा. और बहुत शानदार बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं, बहुत बेहतरीन एटीट्यूड है टुवर्ड द गेम ऑफ क्रिकेट. तो ये 2 ज़रूर इनके लिए बहुत अहम रोल प्ले करेंगे. और अब देखना ये है कि जो बाकी इनके बॉलर्स हैं वो किस तरीके से चिप इन करते हैं, क्योंकि सबसे पहले इन्होंने पोस्ट करना है वो टोटल जहाँ पे इंडिया को चैलेंज कर सकें. जो मुझे लगता है कि अगर इस पिच पे और इन कंडीशन में 120 रन ये करते हैं तो दे विल हैव अ वेरी गुड चांस. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दे कैन विन द गेम, बट दे विल हैव समथिंग इन देयर पॉकेट जहाँ पे ये फाइट आउट कर सकें. और फिर इन दोनों की कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगी.
In the absence of their captain Monank Patel, who do you think will be the key player for US?
To me, I think Aaron Jones. Because जिस तरह की फॉर्म में ये है, जिस तरह कंट्रोल्ड अग्रेशन के साथ ये खेल रहे हैं और जो सिचुएशन हैंडल कर रहे हैं, मैंने बहुत कम एसोसिएट मेंबर्स के ऐसे प्लेयरों को देखा है कि वो दोनों मैचों में जिस तरीके से उन्होंने अपने आप को अप्लाई किया है, अपनी स्किल्स की एग्जीक्यूशन की है, वो बहुत ही शानदार.
He's had all the flair and the wonderful celebrations of a real superstar in the making. So USA fans, you'll be hoping for a big one from your new captain today in Aaron Jones. But as we take a little look at the playing 11 for the might of India, Yunus Khan, if you could be so kind. No changes for them in their side today.
बिल्कुल, जैसे हमें रोहित कोहली और पंत का पता है, लेकिन मैं चाहूँगा कि आज विराट कोहली थोड़ा सा टाइम ले. ठीक है, T20 है, इसमें टाइम कम होता है, लेकिन मैं चाहूँगा क्योंकि विराट कोहली को जो टास्क दिया गया है वो उसको पूरा करें. उसकी वजह यह है कि अगर विराट कोहली यहाँ पे परफॉर्म करते हैं, ये जो बात हो रही है कि विराट कोहली को नंबर 3 खेलना चाहिए, नंबर 4 खेलना चाहिए, तो वो ख़त्म हो जाएगा. उसके बाद सूर्य कुमार यादव का हमें सबको पता है कि वो क्या बैच विनर है, और लेकिन इनको अभी जब बिगेस्ट स्टेज पे आते हैं परफॉर्म बार किया हुआ है, लेकिन इनको करना है. दुबे के आप एक ऑलराउंडर के तौर पे खेल ले, लेकिन ये कि इनको भी वाइजली अगर टीम इंडिया यूज़ करें तो इनसे बेस्ट ले सकती है. उसके बाद हमें पता है हार्दिक पांड्या और जडेजा, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इनका एक रोल है कि जब भी टीम फंसती है, टीम इंडिया कहीं इनको ख़ासतौर पे इस पिच पे अगर कहीं चेस कर रहे हैं ये तो कोई प्रॉब्लम होंगी, तो ये 2 वो पर्सन हैं, ये 2 पर्सनालिटीज़ हैं, ये 2 ऑलराउंडर्स हैं जो कि हमेशा मुश्किल में इनके काम आते हैं. उसके बाद अक्सर पटेल को बड़े वाइजली यूज़ कर रहे हैं टीम इंडिया, क्योंकि हमने देखा है कि जो लास्ट मैच में भी उनकी जो बैटिंग क्वालिटी है, बैटिंग स्किल्स है, वो आप सबके सामने है, और फिर आउट भी करके देते हैं, जो कि एक अच्छा साइन है. उसके बाद जब हम 3 फास्ट बॉलर्स की बात करते हैं तो मुझे अर्शदीप का बहुत ज़बरदस्त रोल इनकी बॉलिंग अटैक में लगता है. उसकी वजह ये कि जब ये नए बॉल करते हैं तो सीम अप होता है, और ये इस पिच पे ख़ास तौर पे जो इनकी लाइन और लेंथ है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और ख़ास तौर पे जो लास्ट के 1 आध ओवर करते हैं, अमेजिंग. मैंने इतना अच्छा बॉलर इतनी यंग एज में जो है नहीं देखा कि वो किस तरह बॉल करता है. और जहाँ पे सिराज की और बुमराह की बात करें तो वो इन्होंने हर मैच में एक्सपेक्टेशन जो होती है वो करके दे रहे हैं. तो बुमराह का रोल एज़ यूजुअल वही होगा कि वो कहेंगे कि मैच विनर बन जाएगा.
Who's your MVP?
और मेरे लिए आज की जो मेन होगा वो विराट कोहली.
Okay.
विराट कोहली मुझे लगता है कि आज परफॉर्म करेंगे और वो बताएंगे कि वो वाकई में किंग है.
Thank you, Yunus Bhai. Oh, MVP Virat Kohli. Huh?
Well, no surprises there, and it is due, as you said, Erin. We're yet to see that big innings from Kohli at the top of the order, because of course there has been talk, as we were discussing, of his ideal number in this side. अभी हमने runs की भी बात की, हमने भी बात की कि क्या decision क्या USA जो है वो post कर सकता है on the board. Pitch के बारे में हमें इतना नहीं पता था, but thankfully अब pitch ready है. So let's go to Ebony, Rainford, Brent and Steve Smith who are ready with the pitch report.
So we're back here at New York for USA taking on India. Both team on 4 points, so the pitch is going to come into play today. Let's start with the weather and the overheads. Another glorious day, hardly a cloud in the sky. A little bit warmer today, 24 degrees and hardly any breeze. So just up to 8 kph. So that is all looking good. We're on the same wicket today, so let's talk about the dimensions. They're the same as yesterday. So downtown, straight down the ground, we're looking at 72 metres. Because we are a little bit more central, that brings square leg where I am up to 66 metres. And then to my offside, 70 metres is the big hit. So look, good surface. I'm going to bring someone in who knows a lot about batting on surfaces like this. First of all, what have you made of it?
Yeah, look, it's been a tricky wicket, hasn't it, the last week or so here in New York. So things have been pretty similar. Bowlers have hit a hard length and it's been quite challenging. So I think batters are going to look to hit the ball down the ground. Cross-bat shots are going to be difficult and hit up and over with the pace as well. I think that's the way to go on this wicket.
Yeah, let's talk about yesterday's game, actually. We saw that all wickets were taken with either length balls or bouncers. So you're expecting more of the same?
Yeah, I am. I think there's little platelets on the wicket, so I think bowlers are going to look to hit that hard length and back of a length and try and get the natural variation out of the wicket, and I think that's the best way to go about it on this track.
Quickly, if you're captaining today, what do you do first? We saw South Africa once decided to bat first, but everyone else is bowling. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think bowling. I think you want to know what you're chasing. I think that's the best way to go. Hopefully take some early wickets, put pressure on, and then chase the total down later on.
Brilliant. Well, we've heard it from Steve there. We're in for a good game. Both teams towards the top of the table on 4 points. Can be fun.
So confirmation there, we are on the same wicket as the game we saw yesterday. Steve Smith said, Martin Guptill, that there are little platelets almost with those cracks that were opening up on a used wicket there. The bowlers will be looking to target those areas to bring a little bit of movement, bit of uneven bounce. What did you make of what you saw of the strip?
Yeah, it does look, you know, like I guess a South African wicket, you could say. You know, they do get those big platelets like that, and they do open up with a bit of heat and things, just like Perth does. But there's just enough, I guess, on those little bits where the grass is to have that uneven bounce. And I think we saw from the graphic they showed there, those short balls, some of them are coming through sort of navel to chest height, and then there was one that I think, was it Amir? No, it might have been Harris Ralph bowled that hit just below the top of the stumps from a similar length. So that's quite a big difference in height with the bounces coming through. So you have to be on your wits as a batter.
You do. Two sides that are unbeaten so far in this T20 World Cup will lock horns on those 22 yards in just mere moments. We're 10 minutes away from start of play, Roja. So it's time we actually announced our winner of yesterday's Winner Mobile Daily, thanks to Parkview. It's my absolute pleasure to announce the winner from yesterday was, drum roll, Arish Khan. Congratulations, sir. You won the mobile phone. That is coming your way for answering the question correctly. But the question today that you have to answer correctly is as follows. Which Pakistani bowler took the most wickets in the ICC T20 World Cup in 2009? A couple of gentlemen, I'm sure, will know the answer to that. To win that mobile, all you have to do is answer on the official Facebook page of Parkview City Islamabad and Parkview City Lahore.
Right, time to also pop up the J dot question of the day. अगर आपको इसका जवाब आता है तो आप J dot की तरफ से परफ्यूम जीत सकते हैं, like we're giving away every single day. और ये बड़ा interesting question है if you're a cricket fan. Who was the first batter to score a century in all formats? If you know the answer to that, आपके स्क्रीन पे ये फ़ोन नंबर दिया हुआ है, इस पे कॉल करें. And of course you might be able to win that beautiful perfume that we are giving away every day. But we are just a few minutes away from the start of the live action in New York, and we can't let our guests go without their predictions. Marty is smiling there because he knows I'm coming straight to him.
He knows what is coming.
You've been spot on, Marty. We still don't know your secret, but I tried to take a look at his notes today to see what goes on, what the math is. I still haven't cracked it. But what is A, USA posting and who's winning? And you know, feel free to throw in that margin as well.
I can tell you, you're not going to be able to figure out my method because it is completely random. No, I think it's going to be USA going to post 137.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
That's not a bad total.
Corey Anderson to to star in that.
He's due,
innings.
isn't he? We haven't seen
He
the best
hasn't really
of
had an
Corey
opportunity,
yet.
and I think he's because remember he's played a lot with the Mumbai Indians, so he's gonna, you know, he knows these guys.
And who is winning?
And who wins?
India still wins.
India.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Eunice Bai?
135.
Oh, that's so close to.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll change. 147.
Okay. Added 10 runs off the top.
And quickly, sir, who wins?
USA.
Ooh, USA, and then
Winning.
Professor.
I will go with the runs 115 on the board, and
115.
India should win.
15,
Achha.
15.
115.
15.
115.
115.
And India win.
India should win.
India win.
Well, Erin.
Or 123. And India gets the job done in 15 overs.
I was also going to say something in the early 120s, but I think I'm going to go a bit lower, 115 for US, and of course, India win.
There we go. You have it. Live action is just around the corner, guys. Please enjoy the game. We'll be with you, of course, for our post-match here. Advantage Developers presents Game on. Hey, gentlemen, wonderful work. Rojas and sensational as always. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the other side. It's India versus USA for the last time in New York City.